Welcome to New London Hospital. I'm Elizabeth DeRazio and I'm joined by Nicole Wakeman, and she is the nurse manager here at New London Hospital, which is a huge responsibility. And some of the things she's been tasked with recently is overseeing some of the protocols for testing, as well as some of the procedures that we can go through as we go to our normal everyday appointments. So Nicole, thank you for joining us today, and kind of take us through what it's like to come in now and have an appointment at the hospital if we've been away for a while.
So when patients first come in, they're going to be greeted at the door by a screener. They will be asked a list of questions regarding any recent exposures, how they're feeling, any headaches, cough, chest tightness, anything like that, and then they have their temperature taken. So everybody coming in has their temperature taken, as do the employees, every day. Once they are cleared to come into the building, they go through their normal routine. They go and they become registered, they go to their doctor's offices, and they are put in a waiting room, which is not going to look like the normal waiting room anymore. There's no reading materials, so you got to bring your own.
Bring a phone.
That's right. The chairs are spaced 6 feet apart, and there's actually some chairs that have been taken out to allow for that space.
Okay.
One of the other changes is that you're not going to wait very long in the waiting room.
Sure.
Because we're trying to keep that volume down where people are just kind of hanging out.
Sure.
So they're taken out of the waiting rooms fairly quickly and put into an exam room, and then they proceed with their normal exam, and then they check out just as usual, and off they go.
Now, one of the things that sort of affected a lot of us is, in one sense, the right fear of not going into public spaces. But New London Hospital has really done, above and beyond, trying to make sure that it's clean, things are sanitized, things like that. What would you say to someone who's perhaps putting off an appointment? So
we're really not wanting patients to delay their appointments, and there's a couple reasons. One is that New London Hospital is probably the cleanest building in the county. Mm-hmm. So there has been cleaning measures that have been stepped up from the normal, which were very well to begin with. Everybody is wearing masks. So not only are we wearing masks as staff, but everybody coming into the hospital is given a mask if they don't have one. So that is cutting down on transmission of any germs between patients and staff. The housekeeping is doing even deeper cleans in rooms where there may have been sick patients. We don't put patients in the waiting room into rooms that might have had a patient in there that was sick before.
Okay.
So if somebody's coming in for, say, a blood pressure check, we're going to put them in a room that did not have somebody in there before that was in with more of a viral illness. The other piece is that those that do have a suspected viral illness, whether it's a cough, a fever, rash, gastrointestinal issues, we're seeing them in actually a different exam room, completely separate. There's a door from the outside that they enter in through, and it's a negative pressure room. So all the air in that room is filtered outside, and the staff wears special PPE, which is called a PAPR, so that they're not exposed to anything that the patient might be carrying, and the patient in return is not exposed to anything that the provider might have on their clothing or something.
One of the things that you have for responsibility is sort of protocols for testing and looking ahead, and I know a lot of people are asking what is happening with testing in our local community. Can you kind of give us an idea? We're not going to hold you to it because we know that the CDC and everything is changing things like hourly, but give us kind of an idea of what's happening with testing now and going ahead.
So here in New London, it's a little particular because we don't have access to large amounts of testing equipment. Mm-hmm. We are able to test our own patients that are symptomatic. We also test those that might need to have a test done to return to work, or there are still some kids that went to camp, so they were tested before they went.
Sure.
Our tests go up to Dartmouth, and we have results usually back within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So although the CDC has opened it up to everybody, we in New London don't have that testing capability, but we do have resources for people that call. We can direct them towards the CVS or the Convenient MD or things like that that are able to do higher volumes of testing.
And that's really helpful to bring peace of mind to the area. One of the things that really makes your job so special is the fact that you've lived in the community for many years. Tell us why you love what you do.
So I originally, my love was emergency nursing, but I live in the Sutton area, so coming into New London and being able to treat patients that are like our neighbors, community members, my kids' friends, things like that, that to me adds another dimension to my life where it's more rewarding, because patients here are not a number. They're not a chart. They're not just sticking on a wall or in a computer program. They're actually people we see at the grocery store, and people that we go to school with. So that to me is much more rewarding because it has that personal community effect.
Well, I would like to thank you and thank all of the nurses for us who've been on the front lines throughout this pandemic. It's people like Nicole that make New London Hospital such a great place for our family care. It's people like her that make sure that New London Hospital provides excellent personal care to all of us.